Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me, Josh Mansfield, on this Tuesday, February 6th. We got a big show today, so we're going to dive right in. A little bit later on, we're going to be joined by the Chess.com founder and CEO, Erik Allebest, to talk about how Chess.com is now sponsoring a disc golf tournament. It doesn't make for the most obvious pairing, I got to be honest, Josh, but here we are.
I gotta admit, it's not often that I never thought I was going to meet someone like a CEO of a major company, of one that I use their app daily on a disc golf podcast. That just, and like the line of possibilities, this one was very, very far down that list.
So we're going to talk to Erik about, how he got involved, why Chess.com decided to sponsor disc golf, and which, if we want to call chess a sport, which some people call it a sport, but let's just say which activity had a bigger boom during COVID, because both chess and disc golf exploded during COVID times. So we'll get into all of that. But first, just want to hit some news. Everybody's been talking about it. UDisc breaking up with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Maybe I should say it the other way around. And the PDGA is now developing its own scoring and stats platform that's going to be used by the Pro Tour. Of course, this was all signaled, I think, when they bought Statmando, brought the Statmando developers into their team, and started working on, integrating that side of what they have, like their data analytics side, into their actual business. So, Josh, the press releases, it's all kind of like blah, 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 amazing run. I was so special. Sure. Let's dig into this a little bit more. And we talked about this inside the circle right when the news broke last week. So if you're a subscriber, we recommend you check that out. But what's your initial take on this? Trying to read between the lines of what the tour said, what the PDGA said, what UDisc said. Why do you think that we're here and the Pro Tour is abandoning a platform that has become kind of the standard bearer for following stats and scores?
Two thoughts with this. Number one, I think that the current method of scorekeeping and stat keeping is an incredibly inefficient and kind of terrible model, or last season, because think about it. You have Statmando, who's doing the stats, who are producing these graphics for the Pro Tour and helping run the broadcast. PDGA Live is the official scorecard and the one that actually is going to matter when it comes to submitting your scorecard for official scoring purposes. You then have a volunteer who's following people around with UDisc, a different platform, but it's interesting is that UDisc is typically used where people would be checking scores, or had been in the past. Remember the Kyle Klein debacle back at USDGC when the scores weren't uploading properly. And so I think it was Paul Macbeth who didn't know where Kyle Klein was at, and so had to run a putt on 17. So yeah, right. So actually affecting tournaments, because you have this other app that isn't clear. And then you have the Pro Tour that's running the event. There were so many different groups and apps and people involved.
It's worth noting, you said that Statmando is making graphics for the broadcast, which is true. They were often driving some of the stats graphic development that you would see on DGN, but all of the overlay graphics with the players' names and the scores and the leaderboard and all that was all driven by UDisc and the back end from UDisc.
Complicate things just a little bit more, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't shock me that there's going to be what is now I consider to be a more streamlined means of keeping score and delivering the statistics on said scores out to the Pro Tour and the general public, right? Pro Tour hosts the event, PDGA gets the scoring, sends it out to all interested parties, whether that be for broadcast or for us who just are following the tournament, and voila, right? Like that. So that to me makes a lot of sense. The second part though is that, and we've talked about this in the past, like UDisc has always kind of like never published or released that data. It's very difficult to use. And I think that the ownership of that data and statistics is something that the PDGA and the Pro Tour want. And so to me, that's another big motivation as to why the Pro Tour would want to have their own access to statistics that doesn't depend on a third-party app and organization.
I think that's 100% true. You know, and I've been talking to people about this from UDisc, from Pro Tour, and I definitely get the sense, you know, long run, this feels like it was inevitable to me. That in some way, the Pro Tour or the PDGA were going to want to control more of this data. And we've seen the trend here, right? The PDGA has been moving away from UDisc after having it as a member benefit for a while. And I think that there's a little bit of a sense, and I don't know the details of what UDisc's and the PDGA's agreement was back when that was a member benefit. But I get the sense that people feel like they're being kind of aggressively priced out by UDisc. I know that was part of the motivation here. It was a 6-figure deal for the Pro Tour paying UDisc last year to, you know, get all of the things that UDisc does. Now you might be like, well, that's crazy. Like that's so much money for just to have a website. But really there's a lot more going on. They're sending people to tournaments. They're coordinating all the volunteer stuff. They obviously have to do all the development backend stuff, server costs to run the site that gets you probably more traffic than any disc golf individual site on earth. You know, udisclive.com probably gets more than pdga.com.
Probably second to Ulti-World Disc Golf, but
that's right. Obviously, the Upshot podcast people are refreshing aggressively. So that price was going to go up pretty substantially. And, you know, from UDisc's perspective, I think they felt like they were never quite sure like what the future was going to hold. It was constantly 1-year contracts. There was no, you know, it felt, you know, there was a little bit of tension there, I think, over time. And ultimately, you know, UDisc in their contracts owned the data. And I think that was going to be a deal breaker long run. Now, you know, at the end of the day, like doing all of this platform development, the front end design, all of the things that, you know, you have to have go well for this to be a nice user experience for fans. Now that cost and onus is going to be on the PDGA and the Pro Tour. And so there's a lot of questions that I have still, like, how is it going to look? We have not been given any kind of demo. We kind of, they soft pedaled the announcement a little bit. They're like, well, you know, it's going to be ready for chess.com tournament. And like, it's not going to be fully ready for the went 1 week prior, which like has to make you a little bit nervous about what that's all going to look like. I've also heard that the back end development side of it is really interesting. They're doing some cool stuff. They're adding features that, you know, UDisc didn't have, like being able to select exactly how long a putt was, as opposed to having it in a 5, 15, 25 foot bucket. And I think those are things I've been asking for years, because it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to implement something like that. So a lot of questions though, like how's it going to look? Are they going to have problems? How is the data entry part going to work? Because it's one thing to put a scorecard in, but if you got to do the stats and you got to have those, you know, a lot of the problems from UDisc side in the past have been that the person who was volunteering to take UDisc stats like was making mistakes. That's not going to go away with this new method. It's not like they have some AI camera tool out there marking what's going on. It's still going to be manually input. How is that all going to work? I expect some bumps, but I also think for the long run, this is an ideal situation because the Pro Tour will now own this data in theory. I don't know what the agreement is with the PDGA. And like, is it weird that the PDGA is controlling now this like platform for the for-profit entity in which they are intertwined with a business stake? But like, is this development going towards regular PDGA members as well? Or is this just for the Pro Tour? There's a lot of like sub questions involved here that haven't really been answered yet.
I that's definitely true. What I will say though, and I think that what the PDGA's answer would be if you were to ask them outright about that kind of, intertwinement with this for-profit entity, is that any development of their scorekeeping app and scoring function goes to benefit the general public. And while you may not be able to go through and enter how far your putt was at a C tier, that app development is, I think, will see ripple effects into the PDGA live scoring app, which I will say is going to be good, because I complain regularly about having to use the PDGA live app instead of using UDisc when I score for tournaments. UDisc is a better app right now, and I hope that this deal creates the incentive and means to develop a scorekeeping app, and for both professional tournaments as well as amateur tournaments, to the point that it is significantly better product. I will tell you right now, you're going to hear me gripe throughout the season if the PDGA Live app does not look like the UDisc Live app does, or at least a comparable in terms of quality of life product.
I will accept functional and not beautiful.
Fine with that.
But if it's non-functional, I'm going to be very annoyed, and it's going to be a fiasco. No judgment. If you roll it out for day one of chess.com and everything goes fine and your servers handle the load and everything is good, okay, let's do it. I don't think this is a bad thing for this to have happened. I think UDisc's business model is not predicated on running UDisc Live. And there were people being like, oh, this explains the UDisc price hike of the app. It's $30 a year now. Well, that was in the summer. They didn't find out from the Pro Tour that they weren't going to be working together next year until the winter. So it has nothing to do with it. Do you know UDisc has more than 25 employees? They are a pretty big company.
They do.
They make a lot of money. And I promise you, they were not making very much money from the Pro Tour in the grand scheme of things.
I think you're right about that. And the thing about it, they talk about the price hike. The kind of quality of life things that UDisc has rolled out on the scoring side for just for casual rounds, course traffic is available to pro members. I can see how many UDisc users are on a course at any given time. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, that it's awesome. And it'll be curious to see what happens with the PDGA. Are they going to try to develop a mobile application to compete with UDisc?
That's
because PDGA Live really isn't.
No, it's not.
Right, it's for tournament scoring, but it's not really for I'm going out for a round, I'm going to track my round on pdgalive.com. No, that's not a thing. And maybe it will never be a thing. But they are developing a platform that is very similar to what exists in UDisc and could be turned into a mobile application if they so chose.
Yeah. That's a big question mark for me.
Yeah, big question mark. Anyway, more to come on this, I'm sure. We'll all get to see the proof in the pudding in a couple of weeks. Joining us right after this break, the chess.com CEO, and he's going to talk to us about the decision to sponsor Paul Macbeth's new disc golf tournament that will start the tour in just a couple of weeks. Stay with us. It's the Upshot. The Upshot is presented by Pound Disc Golf, makers of the best bags in the sport. They just got some new earth tone colorways of their fanny packs, which are awesome. If you're just trying to carry a couple of snacks, maybe some water while you're walking around the course, great to have that. And they've got some new mini zippered pouches dropping tomorrow. If you want to just, keep your headphones in there, some little items you don't want to get lost in the bottom of your bag, get one of these little mini zippered pouches. Very cool. They've also got new Hydra Pack hydration reservoirs available so that you can keep water on the go in your bag as you walk around. You can, of course, get yourself a pound bag first and foremost at pounddiscgolf.com and then accessorize as you like. Joining us now on the Upshot is Erik Allebest. He's the chess.com CEO as well as a co-founder of the biggest chess website on the planet. Erik, thanks for taking time with us. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Disc golf is kind of my second love after chess, so this is awesome.
Well, you set up the first question perfectly because that was going to be my question. where did you how long have you been playing disc golf? How did you decide that chess.com and a disc golf sponsorship made sense?
Well, first, it doesn't make any sense other than the fact that we love disc golf. So Danny and I, who's a co-founder, we love disc golf. I mean, it's something we do all the time and regularly, and it's a big part of our lives. And when we connected with Paul through, a strange set of circumstances. I think Danny was trying to get me a signed disc from Paul for my birthday, which he did, which was amazing. And then we was like, well, then we reached out and said, hey, how can we get involved in anything you're doing? And they kind of just blossomed from there. But I've been playing disc golf for maybe 8 years. But more seriously, kind of, a lot of people around COVID started taking it more seriously. That includes me. And since then I've, fallen in love. I putt every single morning, in the gym and I love doing it.
What's your home course?
I'd say Creekside here in Utah is the one I play the most. So it's it's got the plaque that says, is near where the inventor of the Frisbee, lived. So that's kind of like one of the claims to fames there. So.
It's a good course. Is it true? So Paul was saying that you have a collection of Lunas.
Oh man. Yes, I do.
How many Lunas are we talking about here? Just in the collection side.
I use all except his signed one as practice putters. And there was a time where they were super hard to get a hold of. So I was buying them on eBay. I didn't know if they were going to be discontinued. And I have a lot of practice putters, though. A Warden is pretty close, and I throw the Roach as well, all in that same kind of vein. But I probably have 20 Lunas.
Wow. Nice. Are you going to get one of these new beaded Lunas that are coming out pretty soon?
I'm not a beaded fan. I'm sorry.
Okay. That makes sense.
I don't do it. So if they bead the Luna, they better call it something else.
They will be calling it something else, so you're safe on that front. Well, this is just a fascinating thing. I mean, chess and disc golf both had this boom during COVID, and I'd love to get your perspective because since you are so integrally involved with the chess side, but also you play disc golf. What do you think had the bigger boom during COVID, and have you seen similar dynamics playing out on the chess side in terms of maybe a little bit of a consolidation period over the last 2 years after boom times in 2020 and 2021?
Yeah, I mean, both games or sports or whatever you want to call them definitely had a huge boost. I'm just going to admit, I'm really into pickleball. It's kind of my third love, and that also had a really big boom. Don't make fun of me, guys.
All the hottest trends on the planet right now.
I'm the ultimate nerd here: pickleball, disc golf, and chess. Chess. The difference really is that chess. Well, I wouldn't say an unlimited capacity to expand because we suffered a lot with the expansion. So many people coming online. It was hard on the servers. We were at capacity. It was really tough. And disc golf has had some of the same things, which is courses are more crowded than ever. You've got old school, new school. You've got clash of cultures where before it was a little bit more. There's some stereotypes around what, disc golf players are like. And then you got, other people showing up in Lululemons and, it's a different, bit of a clash. So there's been that in chess as well. And then, consolidation. A lot of companies or people just kind of ramp up into it. And then as things start to cool off, everyone's like, what's going to happen here? And, chess had its own consolidation. Chess.com bought, one of the other largest companies in the space just because they were starting to hit some real financial troubles, but they had some great assets and some great team members. So, and we've seen that in disc golf as well.
You hit right on one of the subjects that we'd written down. That was the Play Magnus group, correct?
That's right. And Magnus is basically the Paul Macbeth of chess.
Right.
There's a lot of great disc golfers and there's a lot of great chess players. I happen to have my favorite, but okay.
So in terms of that Play Magnus group, tell us a little bit about that acquisition. The article I found said $80 million. And what assets did you then incorporate with chess.com in that consolidation?
Yeah, so it was $80 million, though. given their cash they had on their balance sheet from having raised, I mean, the purchase price was actually less because, we bought a bunch of cash with cash. So it was a fair amount lower than that. But along with that came Magnus Carlsen and his full focus and ambassadorship at chess.com. They had one of their other things they had was the Champions Tour, which is basically our version of, the disc golf tour. Chess has its kind of, maybe we don't get into all that, but chess has like an official FIDE, but then we also do our events, and anyone in chess can do events similar to other sports. Anyone can kind of start doing events. But so we purchased that kind of event cycle. Along with it also was Chessable, which is like the best place to kind of learn and train your chess. And some other apps and some other technology, and frankly just a whole lot of great people who love chess and technology and have joined our team.
So tell us a little more about what we might expect to see out of this chess.com sponsorship at the tournament. There have kind of been some things floating around. Oh, there's going to be some people there. There's going to be some activations. Can you tell us anything about what we might find on the ground in Florida?
Yeah, there's going to be chess people there, myself included. And, I believe the Chess Bras, which are very kind of popular streamers in the chess community, I think will be there in the fan zone. So we are going to have like a fan area and activation, some chess and disc golf. I think I'm not actually in all the planning meetings, but I think there's like a chess and disc golf kind of mini combo game to see what happens there. And there's going to be, I have seen some of the fun chess related stuff that's going to be kind of sprinkled around the course, which, as a viewer, it's going to be a little bit kind of funny and weird to see. I don't know. Like, no one totally knows how this is going to get pulled off. It's the first time. It's super weird. I admit it's weird. We wrote a check to help make this happen. And, let me just say this. Chess also has struggled to get sponsorships at times. And so we're always scrambling for who's going to sponsor our events and what's the crossovers and how can we, get other companies to invest in our sport. So I understand what that's like for disc golf as well. And I kind of wanted to, use our problem as to understand disc golf's problem as well as a growing sport without all the finances inside of it, to try and make something interesting happen. So, that's what we did, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to play out.
So I've got to ask, is Magnus Carlsen going to be going to the chess.com Invitational?
So the answer is, I don't know. I know it's being tried, but I know that he is like into it, and he has a family member who's like a, pro or semi-pro in Norway. So I think he's into it, but I cannot make promises, but I think there is a chance.
Wow, that would be awesome.
That's incredible.
So, yeah, I find it super interesting to think about chess because so much of what I've seen from chess's success has been on the like streaming side of things, with everything that's going on Twitch and on YouTube, and like genuine celebrity chess players now.
Yep.
And I think in some ways we've seen that play out a little bit in disc golf as well. But all of that is driven by the participation side, which I imagine is mostly true in chess. Like I find it hard to believe that you'd get into being, a chess watcher without at least playing somewhat casually. So how have you seen those dynamics play out? Because obviously your website is built around actually playing, but then there is this whole media side of the sport that feels similar to the dynamics that we have kind of at the top level of disc golf.
Yeah, there's such a fascinating dynamic, as you mentioned. I mean, every day, far more than 5 million people show up to play chess on chess.com. But when we have a show, maybe 50,000 people are watching live on that. And so, it's 1% of the people who show up to play are watching. And, we want that to grow because we think there's a great cycle for fans to play and then watch and then learn and play and watch and learn and do those things. And so we're working hard to try to build the media side, but it is hard to build that. Now, the people who love it and watch it already are just diehard fans, but how do you get more people kind of into being, watchers? And I'll say that the streaming program and all the amazing streamers from Hikaru to Botez Sisters to Levi Rosman and many of the, Anna Kramling and many of those who are growing, and there's, hundreds of people amazing people in our streaming program. They're helping grow the game through inviting people in to watch and to participate in the fun that chess can be. We've also done a lot of collaborations across. I mean, Mr. Beast played in one of our first PogChamps events online, and we are always working on more celebrity events and more crossover events and different things to just try and grow the ecosystem. And the media side is a core part of our growth strategy of chess, and has been what has in many ways helped us really grow the appeal of the game.
We've got this idea that, the chess.com invitation doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a passion project for you. And you kind of, you understand the plight of sponsorships. Is there, and if so, what do you think is the business incentive to sponsor a disc golf tournament? Do you think you can get more users out of it? Like, what are you hoping? Or is this really just like this is a passion project, you're doing it because you love it?
Well, it depends on if my CFO is listening or not.
We'll block
kidding.
their IP address.
Look, it's definitely got started as a passion project. I don't think it's a positive ROI of like, we're going to get so many people signing up on chess.com who've never heard of it from this event. I don't think so. But at the same time, like, we don't know. We're always trying different things. When you're in kind of marketing and growth, you're experimenting with a lot of different things. Personally, I think that, I'm on the disc golf course. I know what it's like when there's a slow group ahead of me. Like, maybe I pull out my phone every once in a while and play some chess, not going to lie. I think it's a fun activity that can get paired well with, with disc golf. That said, like, I'm not here, like, trying to bang people over the head to say, you got to play chess. It's, if it's part of your life, that's awesome. And if you want to get into it, that's great. It's, but is it going to make you a better disc golf player? Like, I'm not going to say that it's going to, I'm not going to say it's not, but, these are different activities. They're super fun. They can have a great place in your life. Disc golf is like, grab your bag and go out, for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes and throw around. Chess is like open your phone for 30 seconds, solve a puzzle, or, beat a bot or do whatever. So there are different things that can kind of fit into your life in different ways. But, do I think millions of people are going to sign up on chess.com because of this? I don't think so.
Well, okay. I'm a pretty big backgammon fan. I play decently seriously now. I just, the chess versus backgammon thing, I don't really know if there's like a battle there, but I know a lot of high-level backgammon players also play a lot of high-level chess. Do you have thoughts on backgammon versus chess as a game?
So both amazing games, deep strategy, and, I'm a huge respecter of backgammon. I will say personally, I only have room for kind of one deep game in my life, and that's chess. But I will say that, what's awesome about backgammon is you do have that little bit of kind of chance in there, and then you're dealing with so not only do you have the board going on, but you have the dynamics of the dice. I'm a little bit more, I don't love the randomness of that. Chess is like very fixed and concrete. But backgammon has that fun side to it, whereas poker is on the other side has, even more luck as the cards come out and you're doing things. So I view those as like kind of the three, big Western games of like strategy and things. And then Go is another fascinating game that, has such a depth to it and such a feel. It's very hard for me to wrap my hands around. I think the learning curve to understand it is very, steep. But I'm a huge respecter of all games that make you think about it, look at the board, plan multiple moves ahead. And I think chess and backgammon can kind of both accomplish that. And it is like many things in life that, even in disc golf, it's simpler. You got to plan your next shot. Where do you want that to lie so you have a nice putt or whatever? But, backgammon and chess take that multiple distances further, as you've got to, really think deeply through that. So big fan, and maybe one day when I'm not so busy, would love to learn more backgammon.
So the other thing, we all the time in disc golf, I shouldn't say all the time, but a couple times a season at least, there's some controversy about, well, a disc bounced off of a spectator's bag, or this person gave themselves a spot that was maybe a little bit questionable, like did it actually cross inbounds? Chess has dealt with its own cheating scandal in a much more public way the last 2 years or so. How do you deal with that as a chess website where, like, it's not that hard to have a computer program running next to you and like playing moves for you and stuff? So is that something that, chess.com is having to spend a lot of time thinking through? Disc golf is kind of finding its own way on those kinds of things.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're someone who has spent a lot of time and energy trying to be the best at your game or sport, it's hard sometimes to not want to get every edge and advantage that you can. So we understand that. And, I've watched my fair share of disc golf and videos and controversies, and I've seen it. And, people really want to win. That's a deep, human trait. We want to win. And I think some people will, push that to farther lines than others. We see it. It's a huge problem in chess in that, like you said, it's readily accessible and available if you want to. I will say that it is much easier for us to detect than people think. And, especially among kind of more casual play, among professionals, it's a little bit trickier, the fine line between that, but we have very good methodologies and technologies. And for us, for disc golf, it's probably, good cameras in the right spots and a little bit of self-policing can kind of keep you in check. Because everything would have to be really overt. With online chess, it's, harder. We're doing more and more to put more cameras in people's rooms to make sure that we've got, we can see their screen, we can see their face, we can see what's around, so for online chess, that's a lot of what we do. And when we do tournaments in person, we've got scanners that are far beyond metal detectors, but that detect wavelengths and signals and all sorts of things. So we're very deeply invested in protecting the game. And I think we're doing an awesome job of it. I think that sometimes the PR and the spectacle of it is worse than the actual problem. But it is a big problem, and we invest a lot of time. Probably too much of my energy goes into it. But it's the most critical thing. I mean, you need to have, a level playing field for everybody.
So I've one last question for me. Which is higher relative to normal, I guess the scales, your PDGA rating, if you've got one, or your chess rating? I'm curious what your chess rating is.
So my chess rating is like 1800, and that's far above the average player, but it's far below a professional player.
Sure.
My disc golf scores, I've never played in an event. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I'm not ready to have that ego hit in my life. I already, suffer enough from that, but I play a lot and I keep track, and I have steadily moved to being a slightly below par disc golfer, roughly. So that's about where I'm at. Okay. I don't know where that puts me, but it's about where I'm at.
Comparable position, I would think, to where you are in chess.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
would make sense.
Above the average, but a ways to go from the professional side. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good description. Very apt.
That describes my entire life, so it's all good.
So will you meet Paul Macbeth for the first time at this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we've been on Zoom calls together and we've chatted there, but this will be the first time in person.
You going to bring a disc for him to sign or what?
I mean, I've got one, but I'm going to bring probably 10 more because he's the GOAT and I want a bunch of signatures.
There's going to be chess.com Lunas, I'm sure.
I know there's actually a really cool disc stamp that was done for this event that for all the participants and stuff. It's kind of a crazy mix up of chess and Florida swamps. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, Erik, thank you so much for making time, and congrats with all the success on chess.com, and we're looking forward to seeing what all happens at this event.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be there and can't come soon enough. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Chess.com CEO Erik Allebest with us here on The Upshot. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Upshot. Well, that was fun.
that was great.
I love Erik coming out and just being like, yeah, this makes no sense. This is just totally nonsensical. We're not going to make money on this. I love it.
I was sitting, the more he was talking, the more I was like, well, like we were skeptical about how this would make any sort of ROI. And the more he's talking, I'm like, I don't think this is going to make them any money. So I had to ask, I had to know. And yeah, he's aware of that.
But it's like you're at the tournament, like people are seeing it. Maybe they go to chess.com and they sign up for an account. Like, I mean, not going to be zero ROI.
No, it's not going to be zero.
Here we are talking about it and talking about chess.
Yep.
It's just a great story overall. I mean, he turned down job offers from Stanford, coming out of getting his MBA there, from all big tech companies and whatnot, and he decided, no, I'm going to try to make a chess website, and he did, and now it's the chess website.
The chess website,
acquiring other chess websites, and it's like a few bucks a month for a subscription to be able to play bots and get feedback and all that good stuff, and it is interesting. Like, he's like, yeah, we do an event and there's 50,000 people watching. And I'm like, that's not that much. That's not that different than disc golf, even though there's got to be orders of magnitude more chess players than there are disc golfers.
Yeah.
I think it's so much about demographics, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like,
it's got to be.
The disc golf demographics are so well suited to like sports fandom that it's just like the perfect sweet spot for getting people interested in watching competitive disc golf.
That's a great point. Great. Yeah. And chess, I mean, it's also the level of casualness to do something from your phone is even, I mean, because as soon as you go out on a course, right, that shows a level, unless you were just like going along with a friend, throwing their one disc and then you never go again. But if you own discs and go out to a course, that already shows a level of commitment and like financial investment that I bet is more than probably 50%. It's got to be, the number of people who are actually subscribers to chess.com has to be significantly smaller than those who use the free version.
Oh, sure.
Right. I used the free version for years before I ever got a subscription.
Right.
And so like there's already a financial investment in disc golf that supersedes what I think most people will ever spend on chess.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to play chess for free
on your phone. Yeah.
I played many games of chess on my Mac computer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just play the chess. And like sometimes I'd be like, all right, I'm going to try. I'm going to set the computer to its best level and I'm going to play. just get wiped. Chess is so hard. What a hard game. I feel like you have to study a lot to get good at chess.
What I enjoy about chess is like, at least chess.com, it literally, you wait less than 10 seconds and you have somebody who's evenly matched with you.
Yeah, you get power matched. That is nice.
Exactly. And so nice. I never feel like I am, my chess rating is embarrassing because of how much chess I play. It should be more, but I just, like I've mentioned, I play so casually. Like, yes, I have some things that I know, but I literally just, it's as mindless as scrolling social media for me now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, off the air, Josh was geeking out, and he asked Erik to send him a signed chess.com Luna. And Josh said, and I quote, "I have a Ken Climo signed disc on my wall from when I played around with Ken Climo down in Florida, and I am more excited about getting an Erik Allebest signed disc." Josh, that's a crazy take.
Sorry. Like, I know that might be. I think it's in part, like, number one, I have played chess. Like, I grew up playing chess with my dad, right? Like, I've played chess since I was 6 years old, and I have always played a lot of chess. I played competitively in middle school and high school. I played in college for fun with just all my friends. Like, I love disc golf, but chess has always been a part of my life. And to have, and the other things like Erik Allebest, like we have some important people in disc golf, but this guy's the real deal. Like, he's like a grade A CEO. They're buying other groups for $80 million. Like, that, we're talking money that disc golf hasn't even like thought about yet when we think about chess.com.
You know what's funny is, like, I brought up the chess cheating scandal stuff. And like
Hans Niemann.
This is a disc golf podcast, but yeah, Hans Niemann.
Yeah,
There's more stuff coming out like right now. Like this is happening. Really? He got banned from the St. Louis Chess Club for, quote, inappropriate behavior and damage to private property. He claims it's blatant disinformation. But then he added, I regrettably caused damage to my hotel room and incessantly apologized and was supposed to be reinstated by the hotel. Oh, my God. The drama is crazy in chess.
It is.
I think, I wonder where it's bigger, disc golf or chess. Anyway, enough chess. This is still a disc golf podcast. I look forward to seeing what all goes down. And I'm telling you, if Magnus Carlsen goes to the event, that's like actually going to be pretty legit. I feel like there's a weird way that this could be bigger for disc golf than it is for chess. That like the chess.com like universe coming into disc golf is actually going to boost disc golf participation more than chess participation.
I do not think that's even there's like a decent chance of that being the case.
Okay, I wanted to talk about ticket sales. Now, this has not been a major topic of late, but I figure we should take a look at kind of what's going on. The reason I bring this up, the Worlds dropped their daily VIP tickets last night. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they've got, this is the new trend. They've got all these various tiers of VIP, right? So you have your gold VIP, $1,200 tickets, you know, access to the pool, access to the pickleball courts. Obviously, you can watch all inside the ropes at the disc golf. Meals, comfort zone access, on and on and on and on and on, right?
Yep.
Then you've got your silver for $800, many similar things, just a little bit less. $275 bronze VIP, which gives you full course access at New London, inside the ropes access at Ivy Hill, parking. And then you have your daily VIPs, which gives you, you know, depending on the course and the day, access to that course inside the ropes or whatnot.
Yep.
So I figured, let's take a look. How are sales doing? I'm pretty curious. So gold and silver and bronze, I think, have been on sale for a couple of weeks already. Mm-hmm. 22 of 35 gold passes have sold. 34 of 40 silvers. 273 of 300 bronze. Okay. Daily passes. Wednesday, 6 of 50. Thursday, 4 of 100. Friday, 44 of 100. Saturday, 61 of 125. Sunday, 92 of 125. Now, there are more spots available with the merch package. People don't really seem to want that, though. So those are not selling nearly as much. But how do you feel about these numbers? Not sold out, not like instant click race, like you can go right now and get your VIP ticket.
Honestly, I feel great about these numbers. Here's what they need to do. Because and this is why I feel this way. If you look at the bronze pass, as you mentioned, 273 of 300 spots. So the week-long VIP passes that are the lowest tier available, and those are running you $275. Okay. Those are sold out. What you need to do is you need to sell VIP passes that come with general admission for the rest of the week. So, for example, if I buy a Sunday VIP pass, I can do an add-on option for a lesser amount than the normal week-long general admission. And it can fill both spots, right? Or however you need to do that. That's, you know, maybe that opens up a Sunday general admission, right? If I buy the Sunday VIP with a general admission, however that needs to work. But I think part of it, right? You get that single day VIP, and then I think what's happening is people are looking at like time off, right? What are they doing this summer? Then once we get closer, I think they'll continue to go. But for a first night, and then like those week long, the bronze VIP, those are selling very well. 92 of 125 Sunday final day VIPs almost gone. I just think it's going to be hard to sell those Thursday VIP passes or the Wednesday VIP passes. No one has bought a Wednesday VIP pass with merch yet.
It's just there's no reason to buy a VIP pass for an early day at the major. I don't think
there isn't.
Like the point,
we're
like,
not busy enough yet.
How worse is your view? How much better is your view going to be with a VIP pass than without?
It's not. Like, I completely agree. So but all that said, right, to answer your original question, I think the sales are encouraging. The premier tickets are going quickly, and once those premier tickets are gone, people are going to kind of wait until they've kind of confirmed that, yes, I'm traveling for this. And once they have, then they're going to buy the general admission or the week general admissions. And I expect those to sell pretty well as well. That I think interesting. So between all the VIP passes that are, so bronze, silver, gold, you have 370, weekly general admission, you have 400. So you're looking at 750 now. You stick on, for the VIP passes for any given day, another 150, and then Sunday general admission 1,200. I mean, you could have north of like 5,000 to 6,000 people there, according to their sale numbers. Now, will they all sell out? Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good accommodation in terms of number of people they'd be able to accommodate.
Yeah, I mean, I think from their perspective, if they closed VIP sales today, it's not disappointing.
No,
like, I guess, yeah, you want to sell them out, but it's not like they're barely selling. Like,
right,
people are buying early, and it's still the winter. Like, there's a lot of people who have not decided that they're going to go commit to going to this tournament. I think they're going to do fine. I was just checking chess.com ticket sales just to see where things are at for the first event of the year. They've sold out their 3-day VIP passes, $120. They've sold out their Saturday VIP passes for $50. And Sunday VIP, there's only one ticket left. So that obviously will sell out. Plenty of general admission tickets left. 454 remaining still for Sunday GA. Interesting note here. A Sunday GA pass is $25. And a Sunday VIP pass is $50. So, like, I feel like the price differential isn't maybe quite enough there. Like, if I was going to go, I'd be like, right. Well, I mean, 25 more bucks and I get the VIP, sure.
When I think of this, like, I think of a minor league game for general admission. Like, I would pay as much for a minor league sporting event. Okay. I can go watch the Idaho Steelheads, which are 2 levels down from the NHL. You have NHL, AHL, and then the ECHL. Yeah. And I can pay $30. $35 to go watch. That's what I'm going this weekend down to Utah. I'm going to go watch a semi-pro hockey team for $35. That I would pay that much for a general admission disc golf pass. I would probably pay double that, a little more.
So you think their pricing is about right then?
About right. I think you could probably go up a little bit more for a final day.
But it is crazy to see just how much things have changed in this side of things.
Something I wanted to highlight real quick, and obviously, there's merch and things that go with it. I just did the quick math on the VIP gold, silver, and bronze. They've sold earned a total of around $127,000.
Wow. From
those 4 passes or 3 pass tiers.
That's crazy.
I mean, not disappointing at all.
I don't think so. No. And they'll probably sell them out. I mean, there's only a handful left.
27 bronze left.
Yeah. And then 6 silver and 13 gold. I mean, maybe they don't sell out the gold because, but I don't know. They probably will.
Maybe.
If you're going to make a week of it, right? Sure. And the gold pass is $1,200, right? It's a lot. But you get 2 meals a day. Mm-hmm. And, you get all this access to all these facilities and amenities. And if you're there for 5 days, you have to be there the whole time, I think, to really make that worth it. But if you are, it's not even really that bad of a deal. I just bought Billy Joel tickets, MSG, to his second to last show in MSG ever. Supposedly, Okay. Sure, he'll do some reunion thing in a few years. But, and I'm sitting behind the stage. Honestly, it's a great spot. I've been to one Billy Joel show before. You sit behind the stage, you still see really well, and you're really close, but tickets are pennies compared to what you'd pay to sit in front.
Really?
On the same distance away. Yeah. like you see the backs of the musicians, but Billy Joel sits at the piano on like this rotating thing, so you could kind of see him great the whole time.
You're gonna see him anyway. Yeah,
it's awesome. And I paid my tickets were around $300. Like, and I was like, yeah, no problem. Like $1,200 sounds like a lot, but like when you think about everything that you're getting from that, I think there's a reason they're selling.
I think you're right, and especially for people who like this is like I think it's probably as well like, oh yeah, you're closer, right? Because for me, that would, I mean, it's already very like expensive for me to get out to Virginia, right? In terms of flights and now
sure.
maybe there are some, but I think if it's like, oh, it's really close to me, I'm going to take advantage and just really enjoy this experience because I don't have as much of a lodging or flight cost than other people.
Right. I think it just depends on like, you know, do you want all the swag and do you want to meet the pros and do you want to hang out with the, you know, schmooze with Jeff Spring and stuff like that? Like if you're into all that stuff, then it's a great option.
Yep.
All right. Let us know your thoughts. What are you seeing in tickets for the event that you care about? Send us an email, upshot@ultiworld.com. We will be back with you on Thursday. We've got so much exciting stuff going on. And so a lot of really cool interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks. We are just, let's see, 2.5 weeks away from the start of the season. Very exciting. Josh, it's about time to get ready for the All-Star event. I think Thursday, barring other news, we're going to start hitting some serious season preview content, making some predictions, calling some shots, and getting ready for 2024. So if you want to get your predictions in or even any thoughts, we might take a couple mailbag questions or comments. Upshot@ultiworld.com. Hit us up in the Discord if you're a subscriber. You can become a subscriber for less than $4 a month at discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. Hey, that's cheaper than chess.com, baby. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you Thursday right here on The Upshot.